I was about to dip up out of here, but I saw a recent People's Court case with Judge Millian, and you know how I rocks with Judge Millian. In the description, it says the plaintiff says she gave the defendant a deposit to have her wedding at a farm they own. After COVID hit, they refused to let her have her wedding there, but would not return the deposit. So she's suing for what she paid another venue. That's interesting. So this will be a very interesting case. I think there are a couple things that come into play. First, force majeure, which is similar to acts of God, but force majeure basically means when there is a state mandate or when there is a higher governing body that says that these guidelines have to happen. For instance, if you have to evacuate or something like that. This is not legal advice. I am not a lawyer.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
I'm just a guy that runs a company that provides photography and videography and DJ, photo booths, lighting, audiovisual equipment like speaker rentals, projectors, screens, microphones, all that good stuff. And I love watching court shows, and I really enjoy watching Judge Millian. She's my favorite. Today, I'm going to be watching this video and reacting and giving you my thoughts. Again, this is in no way any form of legal advice. It is just me, my opinion. I'm a guy that runs a company that's watched a lot of court shows and has had all kinds of stuff happen within my business.
This is the plaintiff, Jessica Lorsch. She says she gave the defendants a deposit for her wedding reception at a farm the defendants own.
Just said that.
COVID hit. The defendants refused to allow her to have the wedding there and now won't return her deposit. She was forced to have her wedding at another nearby venue.
Okay.
The defendants owe her the $3,355.05 she paid, and she's suing for it.
Okay. So she's suing for $3,000. Let me just go back just a little bit. Okay, so she's suing for $3,355.05. If I heard correctly and if I read correctly, it seems like she is suing for the amount she paid the other venue. I don't know what sense that makes. If she paid a deposit, then she went to another venue for whatever reason, then you're not going to get a windfall. You're not going to get the total amount that you paid to another venue, because then basically you didn't pay for any services. So that's not going to happen, but I could be wrong. Stranger things have happened when I've been checking out these videos. So let us get back into it.
And she's suing for it.
$3,355.05.
These are the defendants, Ross and Mary Ann. Ross says the plaintiff started harassing him when they told her the state mandate wasn't allowing weddings due to the pandemic. They weren't about to go against the state's mandate. They were happy to rehost the wedding at a future date. Their contract states no refunds. And well, here they are. They're accused of breaking a bride's heart.
All parties.
And this is interesting. It's a Zoom style court case, which happens more often now.
But they refuse to go against the state mandated guidelines.
You get shut down over you? No. Yeah, I agree. Don't go against the government.
All right.
You won't win.
Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tell me what happened. You guys get engaged in 2018. The wedding was what day? June 20.
June 20 of 2020. Yes.
Yeah, that was carefully picked out quite some time ago. And then what happens? COVID hits, and you're from Washington State?
Yes, we toured 3 venues.
Doesn't matter.
End of August the 19th.
It doesn't matter which venues you toured. It matters which venues you selected.
And sat down with her, looked at pictures of.
Okay, and you end up picking them.
You. Speed it up. Speed it up.
Love
Let's
the
go.
place, and that's where your wedding is going to be. And then March of 2019 hits. And what happened?
Between then and March, there was 2 checks that were cashed. One of them held the deposit, and that was actually cashed July 1st, 2019. Okay. And then the balance was cashed January 24th, 2020. So they had a total of $4,355.05.
That's interesting.
So yes, March, Corona hit, and just like it is now, it was really changing day by day. So I had a wedding planner that lived out in Leavenworth, and she was really doing everything.
Leavenworth.
I live in California. So
explain something to me. What goes wrong between you and the defendants, though? At what point they tell you you were supposed to have a wedding that had how many people? That's what you were paying for. The wedding was supposed to have how many?
When we sat down in August, we talked about 150 to 200 people. And so that's what we were paying based off of.
When you talk to them, what do they tell you? Don't worry, we can still accommodate the state's guidelines. What is it they tell you?
My wedding planner says, I talked to Marianne and everything is fine. They said, quote, whatever amount of people you're comfortable with, we're comfortable with.
Okay. So then
that's what Marianne said. How do you have any...
The story is going to change and that there's a problem and that you can't have a wedding. When it get to the meat and potatoes.
There you go. Thank you.
When do they tell you?
May 5th.
May 5th. Who tells you what?
My wedding planner calls and says Marianne's changing her mind. So I called Marianne. Actually, I emailed her first that day, and I said, when can you talk? And I just picked up the phone, called her, and she answered, and I had a conversation with her. And that conversation, she basically said to me, yes, we're having second thoughts. I cannot guarantee that. A, can you postpone it? I said no. B, can you have 10 people there? And I said no. And then C, I just said, this is what we're going to do. Because I was already freaking out. I'm like, we're about 30 days out. I need to know now. So I already knew I had to look for a plan B. So I said, we'd like to gift you $1,000. You know, it's really unfortunate that this happened. And this isn't what we've been planning for 2 years. And then go ahead and take your time. It sounds like times are rough, but when you get a chance, go ahead and give me back the remainder of our money. And she said, that sounds fine. Let me just triple check that my husband doesn't want us to move forward. And I'll let you know in a few days. So that's how we got off the phone there. That was May the 5th. So then that day is when I tried to talk to my wedding planner. I said, what do we do? And she knew of another couple that lived on the other side of the canyon. They didn't do this as a business. She's like, I lived there. They have a backyard. I can they don't really have a contract, but I'll just send you what they have. And I just said, yes, let's do it. So this was much easier. It was just right down the street. 3 days later, I called Marianne because I didn't hear back. And she basically said that she spoke to her husband. They agreed they cannot do this and that she was going to, in fact, return my money.
Okay, can you jump start this? At the end of the day, who tells you we're not going to give you the money? Does he tell you or does she tell you? So then she hangs up the phone with me, and her husband calls me about 5 minutes later. And he says, Marianne does not want to talk to me. And you had an illegal wedding. And since you went to a, quote, commercial vendor, you're not going to get your money back. And then he threatened me and said, if you guys take this to court, we're going to get you, your wedding planner, and all the vendors that you used in trouble. And you guys are all going to get fined $10,000 each by L&I. So I said, I'll see you in court. Wow. Okay. Let's hear
interesting,
from you guys.
dude.
Mr.
Don't
Ross
do
and
that.
Ms.
Don't
Marianne.
threaten people, dude. Come on.
So basically, we were understanding that with our contract that it's a no refund contract. And when COVID hit, we were under the state mandate and guidelines, and they were a moving target. So we could not make any definitive statements through that period of time.
Right. So could you provide the wedding you sold to her, which is, and I know that it's not your fault, you're not responsible for COVID, but were you able to provide what she bought from you, which is a 100-person wedding?
We could have provided the wedding if they had been willing to book in the next year or later that year, or wait and see what they...
Right, but that's not, with all due respect, that's not your decision, is it? That's it's their decision when they want to wed. It is a very personal decision. And what ends up happening is they pay you to have a big wedding that you didn't give them because you couldn't. So my question to you is, at some point, according to her, you guys reach an amicable solution where she says, we've spent a lot of time together. I'd like to gift you $1,000. Don't give me back my $4,000, whatever. Just give me back $3,206.05. And you, Ms. Marianne, say, yes, we'll do that. What happened to change that?
When COVID hit, the wedding planner and I had a lot of conversations about, like you said, what's going to happen, what are our options.
God, get the microphone.
I was dealing with this with. I'm very sympathetic to the bride's cause. So when she called and we talked about her scenario, she didn't want to change her date, fine. She didn't want to do it in 2021, fine. All that I understood. However, what she told us was, I can't do any of those things. I'm going to have it. My backup plan is I'm going to have a wedding in my aunt's backyard with my immediate family because that's what we can do.
Okay, so
Okay?
So
if
what?
at any point in time she had said to me, we are going to look for another venue and have an illegal wedding, which it was.
But it does have nothing to do with
at
you.
another venue, I would have never agreed to give her money back.
Why? What does that have to do with you?
Here's the thing, and I'm trying to understand.
So what?
I'm trying to
I don't-
understand
hold
your
on, so-
reasoning.
I'm trying to understand your reasoning too. Like that makes no sense to me. So let me just put this in a different perspective. Let's say she said, I want to get a refund and go and buy. I'm not condoning that, so don't get that twisted. But who cares what she wants to do with that money? You are refunding her because you're not able to perform what you promised. Once she gets that money back, who cares if she takes it and lights it on fire? Who cares if she takes it and elopes with it? Who cares if she takes it and does something illegal with it? It's not on you. Your job is to give her what you said you were going to give her, which is her money back. So give her her money back. Let her decide what she's going to do with it. Maybe Judge Milian will say something similar. Who knows?
See? Because she wants a wedding. She wants it that day. You won't give it to her and someone else will. What was it that made you so mad that all of a sudden you guys changed? Excuse me. What was it? Let me do my thing. What was it that made you so mad?
Don't piss her off, dude. You will
decided
lose.
to change course on what you had said earlier.
With the understanding that the plaintiff's getting married at Aunt's backyard, and we agreed to that refund on that basis. We found out that the wedding was being held on the other side of the canyon from us with a competing vendor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've seen enough. So let me see if I've got this straight. Basically, you're mad that someone else was violating the law, so you're going to take it out on her.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain something.
I would feel that
I don't
she
understand why
violated
you're
the
not
law.
suing for every penny. So tough, go report her, do whatever you want. But
I
how
didn't
does
think
that
I
mean
was
that
allowed to.
you're just mad that someone else was able to do the wedding? You couldn't give her what you sold her, and that is not on her. If you cannot complete the contract, somebody's going to eat this money. And the only reason you don't think it should be you is because you ran over there, trespassed on the other venue's property to take a video, and you're in.
Well, Your Honor, counselor, they are not trespassing because they have not been asked to leave. And there are no signs, according to this video that you have presented into evidence, there are no signs stating no trespassing. Therefore, that part is incorrect. They are not trespassing. This is not legal advice.
You is because you ran over there, trespassed on the other venue's property to take a video, and you're angry that she somehow finagled being able to have the paltry little God bless you wedding that she was able to have.
I didn't think I
Okay,
was allowed
so-
to sue for all of it because we had a verbal agreement where I gave them $1,000.
You're right.
Technically, they have $4,355.
I like the way she threw that in there.
And I sent you both the checks that show those total amounts.
But
there was
you're
a deposit
suing.
of $2,162, and that final check of $2,193.05.
You know what? You make an excellent point.
Jojo.
You were going to gift them $1,000 and ask just for part of your money back. And you reach that little settlement, and then you don't honor the settlement. Why should you get the benefit of the settlement? You didn't honor it. You're absolutely correct. And I'm going to order them to pay the entire amount back to you because that is what she's entitled to. Too bad. You should have honored the settlement instead of getting mad at some other venue and then taking it out on the bride. Verdict for the plaintiff, $4,355.05. Congratulations.
You know she wants to smile. Go ahead, smile.
Ross, let me ask you, what are you thinking?
Well, the decision is as we expected as far as contract world goes.
I read about a did you say want to?
In legal guidelines. However, it's irresponsible on the part of the bride and groom and irresponsible on part of the venue that hosted it when they knowingly knew that COVID mandates did not allow such an event to take place.
Knowingly knew.
You're like a spy.
They knowingly
That's very funny.
knew.
You went over there and spied and took the video. Anyway, the judge really totally disagrees with you. She's ruled against you. You got to give the money back. And that's the bottom line.
Okay.
Okay?
No, we went
That's it.
to our neighbors to see what they were.
That's it, guys. All right, let me talk to the plaintiff now, Ms. Lorsch. I assume you are feeling pretty elated right now. I would think so, right?
Yes, I feel great.
Good for you. Congratulations. I'm sure everybody watching is happy you're getting your money back. Good for you.
All right, so that's my reaction to this video here. It's pretty much as expected. They were not able to perform, like Judge Millian said 1,000 times. You're not able to perform. It's not the client's fault, so give them their money back. What I find puzzling is the defendants. They said they expected this outcome. So if you expected this outcome, then why roll the dice? You had a free grand from the clients there. Yeah, I know you did the work. Again, you're doing the planning. You had all this other stuff. You got things tied in, but you have $1,000 basically sitting in your pocket, and the client wants the remaining 33. So you should give it to them, but you decide not to, and you roll the dice, even though you know you expected this verdict to go against you. And now you got to pay the full amount, and you had to go through the litigation. You had to set up the time. Even though it was Zoom, you still had to set up the time to do the trial. You had to prepare all the paperwork. You had to get all this stuff done. And in the end, you not only didn't get that $1,000, but you had to pay basically the full refund, and you spent all that time anyway. So kind of puzzling to me that you would even roll the dice, but hey, people do strange things, I guess. So that is my reaction to another People's Court, my favorite, Judge Millian. I appreciate you coming and rocking with me one more time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumb me up. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe. Wouldn't mind if you do that either. Let me know if there's something that you want me to react to, a video that you've seen that has to do with weddings, lawsuits, wedding and lawsuits together, and I will be glad to check it out. Till then, I'm out.